There are certain mistakes in Animal Crossing New Horizons that every player seems to make. Okay, maybe not everyone, but still, a majority of players tend to make certain mistakes in the game at least at some point when playing. To determine what these are and to help you avoid them in future, I decided to ask my subscribers which mistakes they think players most commonly make in the game, and I got some really interesting answers that we're going to be sharing throughout this video. So join us as we check out these mistakes that most players make in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Starting us off, Kirsty McCollin says, people choosing the first island they see. Have a run around, get a feel for it, and if it's not right, restart the game, don't settle. So I definitely learned this very recently. I've started a new livestream series where I'm doing a no terraforming island challenge, and it was really hard to find the perfect map that I wanted. A lot of the times I kind of felt like maybe I should have just settled for one that was almost good, but no, honestly, I really agree with this advice. I think a lot of people maybe settled with an island they didn't really like that much just because they were excited to play the game for the first time, or maybe they just found the steps of restarting for new maps just to be too tedious. But I definitely think it is a mistake to settle with an island that you're not truly happy with, because this is literally the entire point of the game. You're going to be spending your whole time here. So yes, very solid advice. Don't settle for a map. Take some time, see if you like the map and the island that you're currently on, and if you do and it feels right, then that could be the one. Next, Fabienne says, gifting villagers random items / clothing and not being able to remove them unless you unlock this ability via Happy in Paradise. So yes, unfortunately, I've definitely made the mistake in the past of giving my villagers some really ugly outfits, and although Isabelle I do believe lets you remove them, it takes a long time if they've accumulated a ton of different outfits over the years. My villagers have so many random outfits, and it's really difficult to get them to stop wearing it, honestly. I feel like the problem of having random items in their homes has kind of been solved by the Happy in Paradise DLC, unless you don't have that, of course, in which it's definitely something you should consider. But yes, I feel like it's a very common mistake people make. You'll see your villagers wearing just the most oddest fits you've ever seen in your life around the island, and it's not great, honestly. I wish there was an easier way just to completely reset them back to their default selves, something that I feel like a lot of people would like. Maybe it's a little bit of an odd feature, maybe it doesn't feel that realistic, but I don't know, a lot of things in Animal Crossing aren't that realistic, so I say Nintendo should add this in the next edition. Jada W says, starting to change the layout of their island before realizing they can't move the town hall. I remember seeing someone who made the entire area cliffs to try and make their island mountainous, then got mad when they couldn't move the plaza. Hindsight is 2020, but you should really check something like that before going through all that trouble. Definitely good advice. Certain things around your island just cannot be changed no matter how much progress you make at all. Most of the buildings can be moved, but resident services and the airport will be stuck there for good, so sadly you cannot change them. It's definitely a shame though. I think Nintendo should have let us do this. A Little Demon shared, when they choose their character's name, sometimes people don't like the name they choose anymore, but when you want to change your character's name, you have to restart your island, and when you finish your island you're proud of it, it's really hard to delete it. This is very true. Another feature that Nintendo 100% should have added for so many different reasons is the ability to change your name. I can't believe that they didn't let you do this. It would have not been a too difficult thing for them to add in my opinion, and it's something that would have been important to so many people. So they really should have given us the ability to change our name and also our island name as well. I'm really hoping this is something they will do in the next Animal Crossing game because it honestly feels like a pretty essential update to me. Corbin says, realizing they can't terraform the river mouths and they're just stuck with forever. So yes, it's a common misconception that you can terraform all of the rivers around your island. This is not 100% true. Whilst you can terraform almost everything, the mouths of the river where it meets the ocean you cannot change at all, just like you see my character attempting to do here on screen. It is absolutely not possible. So yes, this could definitely be a problem if you choose an island and the river mouths are in positions that make things quite awkward for you to decorate a certain way. Then you'd almost have to restart and choose something different if you wanted to. So when picking a new island, this is definitely a mistake to try and avoid because you are stuck with these river mouths, just like you're stuck with your name, your island name, and the position of some of the buildings around the island too. I really wish that Nintendo would have let us change this around a bit more. It would have been fantastic if they did. Thankfully, almost everything else can be terraformed in this game, which is absolutely fantastic. In past Animal Crossing games like Animal Crossing New Leaf, we genuinely didn't have the ability to do this at all, so it's really great that now we finally have more freedom to change our island in different ways that was never possible. I just wish we could change other things too, like these river mouths, because honestly, I do not love the position of mine. Mel says, forgetting they have turnips when time traveling. Yes, this is definitely a big problem that a lot of people don't realize, but if you happen to time travel too far forwards or you time travel backwards, then your turnips will rot and all of that progress and money will be completely wasted. This is actually a good way of getting ants, I believe, so that's pretty cool, but aside from that, it's not really a good thing to do. You will have wasted so much money if your turnips rot, and it's very easy to do. Honestly, there aren't many consequences for time traveling in Animal Crossing New Horizons. You can pretty much get away with it scot-free, but there is one major consequence, and that happens to be turnips. I definitely see why they did it this way, because if you just kept time traveling forward with your turnips, you could very easily make an absolutely huge profit. So this has pretty much always been a thing in every single Animal Crossing game, because don't get me wrong, Nintendo knows that people time travel, but they wanted to add a little roadblock just so you can't time travel and make too much money with it. I even put out some turnips just as a little decorative thing around my island to make a little stall for Daisy May, and yes, they still rotted, so sadly you can't really get away with putting your turnips anywhere. That even includes within your storage, so definitely keep that in mind. Lilac Moonshine says, letting a villager leave the island before you've got enough Nook Mile tickets to go villager hunting, and then ending up with an autofill for a villager you hate. This has happened to all of us, I'm convinced. We've all gotten that one villager who has autofilled a plot on our island that we absolutely despise, and it becomes so difficult to get rid of them after that because they've just moved in. Village hunting definitely has some of its roadblocks like this person mentions. You definitely have to make sure you've got enough tickets to find the villager you want, and you have to stay on that specific day usually, or someone could move in from the auto move-in queue. Honestly, another common mistake people make related to this is that they simply forget they had an empty plot open and don't take the opportunity to fill it with a villager they actually wanted to, then they end up with someone that they really didn't. So I definitely think this is something you should keep in mind in Animal Crossing New Horizons. You don't want to end up with a villager for ages that you really don't like, but it does pretty much happen to all of us, I'm sure. Amanda says, people who dreamy hunt for the first 3 villagers, but they don't come with their original house, so it's best waiting. So this is a very interesting observation that I'm willing to bet a lot of people don't know about. The first sort of 5 villages on your island will have houses that really aren't as good as their regular ones, because they happen to be there when the island is still setting up. These 3 villagers, which will always be lazy, peppy, and normal, will never have homes that match their regular selves, so it's definitely a shame. These houses will have some of the items that you actually built for them as a part of the quest to get them onto your island. It's kind of a neat idea, but I don't like the fact that they deprive some of their regular homes, some of which are honestly designed so well. So this is definitely a mistake to keep in mind if you're starting up a new island. There's really no need to think too hard about these first 3 villagers that you're hunting for, because at the end of the day, their homes aren't going to be that nice. You could just move out whoever you do get in, and then get some better villagers that you really wanted later who have their proper homes. I'm not entirely sure if you can use the feature with Isabelle that resets their homes, maybe that is a possibility. And of course you could use Happy Home Paradise as well to change the look of their home, which is a nice feature, but if you don't have the DLC, then this is definitely something that you should keep in mind. Christina Heber says, don't have a significant other or a child be the first player on your island. Now this one kind of made me laugh honestly at first, but it is a very good point, and actually something that I've seen a lot of people warn against. If it is your Animal Crossing island and you're not the main player on your island, there's a lot of things that you will not be able to do. And let's say you have a significant other who maybe, leaves your life and then they're the one in charge of your island, you're gonna have to reset completely. So I definitely think that is something to keep in mind. As far as I'm aware, Animal Crossing New Horizons doesn't have any child controls either. So maybe if a young child is in control of the island, they could really mess things up for you without even realizing it potentially. So I think in a lot of cases, this is pretty good advice just to be the first player on your island so you do have the ultimate control over things. This will definitely help you having to avoid restarting later on if things don't go your way. Amitai's Film says, letting your flowers grow out of control. This is a video that I've actually made before on the channel, but I just want to briefly say that yes, flowers can definitely run wild on your island if you don't give them proper spaces to grow in and you just let them grow wild. You can end up with a huge flower problem where flowers will basically take over. Especially if it's a rainy time of the year, oh my gosh, you can just end up with so many flowers, and that is definitely a big problem that isn't easy to deal with. It's not like weeds where Leaf will take care of them for you. This is something, unfortunately, that you will get stuck with, and you'll have to dig up one by one yourself if you want to get rid of them. It definitely would have been cool if there was a service in-game to take up flowers. That's something that I would have liked to have seen a lot, but sadly that is not the case in Animal Crossing New Horizons, so we just have to deal with them ourselves. Down in the comments section below, I'd love you to let me know what some of the mistakes you think most players are making and they should avoid in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm sure we could use this video as a great resource for people who are just starting the game, or maybe have played for a while but are still trying to learn more about it. So yes, definitely leave your comments down below. If you made it to the end of this video, then be sure to comment Bob's Gang down below so I know that you did. If you enjoyed, then be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on channel notifications for more Animal Crossing content.